1v1 on Road to Kharkov. This game is going to be MrMarshallB playing as Oster in the north spawn versus OKW clan MoreDryThanaNunsNasty playing as US forces in the southeast. So as far as this matchup, pretty tough to beat OKW as US forces on this map, but the US forces does have the better spawn. So that helps somewhat, evening out the matchup somewhat slightly. And this game is going to be Infantry Company, apparently. Has already been chosen. Kind of early to pick Infantry Company. I didn't even catch what else was in his loadout. I wasn't paying close enough attention, but apparently that's what he's going to use. And MrMarshallB has fielded Mechanized Assault, Lightning War, and Spearhead, so very common loadout. We haven't seen Spearhead like that much recently. Fallen out of favor just a little bit. People playing around with close air support more. Lightning War has become very popular for whatever reason. I don't even know what the deal is there. And of course, Mechanized Assault is still number one. Squads moving to take control of territory in the north now. Triple Grenadier opening to a triple Rifleman opening, so just going with infantry squads. No team weapons yet. Going to take control of some territories up here in the north. More Grenadiers making their way down to get the territory there under control as well. And Pioneers going to move to take control of these territories also. And the first engagement's going to happen here in this general area, from the look of things, which it tends to on this map. Both players still kind of sticking to cover, being passive. Grenadiers waiting in this green cover position for riflemen to expose themselves, but they're going to just jump straight into that house. At this range, this many windows, 2 windows, Grenadiers should be pretty much fine. And more Grenadiers are arriving to support, continuing to maintain the long range of this engagement. 3 squads to 2 squads of riflemen. They should have the advantage, while a 3rd squad of riflemen is still making its way up to the front lines. Rear echelon troops are making slow progress across the south, apparently. Should probably keep those guys moving. Pioneers are going to continue making their way across this section of the map. We take a look at tech. We're actually going to see the first fuel purchase is going to be an ambulance here.
A capture point is under attack.
So that's going to delay his M20 if that's what he decides to do. And a quick M20 is generally a good idea on this map. You want to have the most mobile army possible, because of its big size and narrow nature. And the quicker you can get something that affords you a lot of map control on the field, on a map where it's so easy to cut off your opponent, like Road to Kharkov, the better off you are. So, ambulance is an interesting decision. If he sends this straight to the front line, you can see that he's not retreating, but just soft retreating when his squads fall a little bit low. He's clearly intending to utilize his ambulance to assist in these engagements a little bit. But it's going to take some time for it to get to the front lines, and he's struggling in engagements in the meantime here. These 2 squads are making their way back towards the ambulance to try and heal up, and he did have to completely disengage and surrender full map control to MrMarshallB, who has taken control of the entire center and right side and is going to start working on the left now, while the American player has pulled back to reinforce and heal. Munitions cache going up here in the back. It's an interesting manpower expenditure. It looks like he might be going captain tier, judging by his current fuel.
Welcome to the death factory, boys.
Yep, captain tier. Not entirely sure what I think about going with a munitions cache here. He's probably planning on cranking out a lot of LMGs. Captain Tier into a huge amount of LMG spam is what it is looking like currently, but it's definitely gotta start winning engagements and getting map control back. His munitions income is only 37 even with that cash compared to his opponent's 47 just from having superior map control. You should never build a munitions cache at the expense of your map control.
We're getting plastered over here! Hammer that goddamn line! Heads up! Mechanized mortar carrier is now ready for action. Rifle squad now equipped to lay mines, sandbags...
Hits 2 command points, he could throw down some rifleman defenses. That's something you almost never see anybody do, by the way.
Field promotion! Orders!
But he could do it. Has access to the mortar half-track. Probably not going to field one of those, though, for obvious reasons. Ambulance has not moved up to a more forward location just yet. He did chase off a few squads, but he's not really taking any territory back. He just kind of is now moving back towards his ambulance. Really needs to be more mindful of getting the map under control because the entire map is undefended. He could take this entire area if he would just send some squads over there. Spending his manpower on cash, a captain, and an ambulance. It's kind of made him not have that big of an army. Meanwhile, MrMarshallB has teched up to tier 2 and is fielding himself some Panzer Grenadiers. It's going to be a little bit late on getting anti-tank, but at the same time his opponent went captain tier, so the only threat that will likely be posed in the near future is a Stuart, which, while problematic, is going to hit the field much later than a quick M20 obviously would have. Rear echelon troops are making their way over to the right side to take control of this victory point, and these troops are going to take control of this strategic point as well. Riflemen moving to take the center VP and potentially also the cutoff, which is a little bit undefended right now. LMGs are available to be upgraded on these Grenadiers, but he hasn't purchased them yet. 170 munitions in the bank, but no LMGs. And he's going to throw up a fuel cache here in the back to bolster his fuel income as he makes his way towards tier 3, possibly. Unless he just wants to float up for Tigers. If he goes with Mechanized Assault, he'll be able to get a Stugi easily already. And if he just waits for Tigers, at his current rate, he should easily be able to afford those as well, because his map control has been very solid up until this point in the game. And only now is it starting to waver, as he's struggling a little bit. Oh no! To deal with this rifle blob. Although that's good. Ambulance just sitting here in this field gets picked up by these infantry. So that actually kind of compensates for the loss of that full Gren squad, but he's gonna definitely want to recover that LMG. I'm not sure if his opponent has even noticed that dropped. He's probably going to now, though. The American player is finally going to be able to secure control of this cutoff and dramatically slow MrMarshallB's resource income. First squad of Panzer Grenadiers is now going to be fielded. 3 command points have been hit, and next time he retreats, he's probably going to outfit all of his riflemen with those LMGs and make himself into a very scary anti-infantry blob. Fuel cache going up over here on the right side from these rear echelon troops.
Krauts are taking one of our points.
Panzer Grenadiers moving up into green cover. Firing on these riflemen. We've also got Grenadiers moving up to assist. Bazooka Captain does locate this fuel cache here in the back. That's a really nice pickup by the US player, checking that back point with those bazookas, try and clear up those caches. MrMarshallB's resource income is really hurting. He will restore control of his cutoff here, but he also has to get that fuel captured again. Just this blob of riflemen just moving from from spot to spot is inflicting really serious damage. And this investment into Panzer Grenadiers is almost a little questionable. On this map, you have a tendency to engage at really long range. The US player is now going to have not only a stolen LMG-42, but a zillion M1919s. Panzer Grenadiers will struggle to close the distance into an effective combat range. If he had just continued to spam the cheaper Grenadiers and upgrade them with LMGs, probably perform a little bit better. Now he's going to be burdened with the task of closing the gap with these Panzer Grenadiers to try and inflict meaningful damage before getting gunned down, which before getting a significant amount of veterancy is difficult. Oh, thank you, Mr. Wanderer. I appreciate your comments, but in all fairness, I only had like 40 before LoveNest just hosted me, so I'm kind of cheating right now. LoveNest is doing all the hard work for me.
Enemies are swarming one of our emplacements. Pay attention this way.
Captain is going to capture the victory point over here on the left side. This engagement over on the right should see this fighting position being destroyed as soon as these Panzerschrecks complete. There's the M1919s, though. Apparently this squad doesn't have one, so they can't use defensive stance.
One of our fighting positions is sustaining fire. We've lost a fighting position.
And there you have it. Panzer Grenadiers getting cut down. Grenadiers will also be soon to follow. Of course, by upgrading this squad, it's no longer really intended for anti-infantry duties. But even without doing that, this squad is not exactly going to have much better luck against this blob. And since there are no LMG-42s left in MrMarshallB's army, he doesn't really have any long-range firepower with which to combat this. But since the US player insists on walking around in a blob like this, there's no map control. He's capturing one point at a time across the entire map while MrMarshallB is spreading his forces out. He seems to lose every single engagement, yet the entire map is red and the US player is cut off from his resources. Nice pickup on that captain. Could wipe him. Oh. Almost. Not quite. Grenadiers over here forced to retreat by the M1919 blob. Panzer Grenadiers will be next, clearly. And he's just constantly herded right back to his base. But excellent map control thus far. If he can keep that situation going, he's not far off from a Tiger. He did go with Lightning War rather than Mechanized Assault. Mechanized Assault would have helped a lot. He's at 6 command points now. He could have gotten himself a Stug E and started... I mean, if your opponent's going to walk around in one tight clump of riflemen, Stug E seems like it would probably be a pretty good idea, especially if you've had good map control. US player just fielded a major and still hasn't got the fuel even for his first tank, so... By comparison, MrMarshallB is up to 200. He has 26 coming in. Has not researched Battle Phase 2, so it looks like he's going to go straight for a Tiger. Tiger is not going to hit the field before the Sherman. That would be a huge red flag on U.S. players' part, but it's going to arrive pretty soon. It's already 6 command points. They're only going to start escalating faster as engagements get more lethal. That Tiger's probably going to hit the field before the second Allied tank if the map control situation doesn't change drastically. First Sherman's probably going to be in production now unless he opts to go straight into a Jackson. Which might not be a bad idea because it synergizes a lot better with this LMG build. You already have more than enough anti-infantry in the form of your M1919, so you get the Jackson as kind of a safety net even if you don't really need it yet. And you can utilize it to take out softer targets like the half-track or caches if you happen to find any. First AT gun has hit the field from MrMarshallB, but he's just keeping it in his base until he feels that he needs it on the front lines. Kind of risky because it's going to be a good thing to have by your half-track should it get rushed by a Sherman. And at 15 minutes into the game, you know an Allied tank is on its way.
We're back to full strength.
But I guess he's just leaving it there until he really feels that he needs it. He does have a little anti-tank from these Panzer Grenadiers. And his map control is still pretty strong. He's about to start the clock ticking against his opponent again with Grenadiers over here on the left side, and the Allied blob is making its way over towards the left. And a fresh ambulance is making its way into the general area to try to support. Hopefully he'll be more careful with that one than his last one. M1919s are going to engage some Panzer Grenadiers, gunning down the squad before it can get into too close range. I think, if he would stop moving. Wow, Panzer Shrek shot just sniped 2 riflemen. Okay. With this half-track here, he's not going to be able to out-reinforce his opponent unless he moves his own ambulance up into a close enough range to support here. So even though the M1919s, in theory, should perform a little bit better against these infantry than G43s, G43s are a weird purchase too. It is cheaper, but on this map you really want the LMG. Spend the 15 more munitions, especially if you have 260 in the bank, because all engagements are happening at super long range. G43s are more for close range engagements. If you're fighting on road to Kharkov against massive LMG spam, I don't think your G43s are going to perform all that well. Oh, Red Wings is here, finally. Good, that means we can start King of the Hill right after this.
Gun batteries report barrage strikes now available in your sector. Contact! Enemy MG! Hammer that goddamn line! God damn it! Someone get us out of here! Is here. Sherman ready.
Yes, it was 4 p.m. It is not your fault at all. You are pretty on time. You're only 4 minutes late.
Orders!
Rear echelon troops taking control of the victory point over there on the right side. This blob has once again forced away all Axis troops because they don't really have any long-range weaponry. It's taking too much manpower. Bleed did have to pull back, and map control is going to start falling into U.S. forces' hands once again, and he is spreading out a little. His captain in rear echelons doing some capping. You really don't have to keep your troops this close together when the engagement's over. You can spread out and capture the map. You don't have to just capture one sector at a time. Although he is actually moving these troops back towards the ambulance for healing. We've also got a Sherman on the field now, and he should probably make use of his Major's forward retreat point. He's just sitting here in the base.
Someone get us out of here! What the hell am I meant to do with these dudes? Green is green command.
9 command points for MrMarshallB now, and once he hits 11, he will almost certainly.
Half track, wait for orders. M7B1 self-propelled howitzer on station and ready for action. All done over here.
Have a dramatic impact with that. It's not a whole lot of preparation on the U.S. forces' part in that regard. And we're going to see a mortar half-track field. And that expenditure is going to delay Jackson production even more. Since he didn't go tier 1, he doesn't have access to M20 mines. Basically, the U.S. forces has no counter to heavy tanks at all right now. So it's going to need to be mindful of the clock. It's already almost 20 minutes into the game. That Tiger's going to get here. When it does, it doesn't really have much with which to combat it.
Grenade! God damn it! Someone get us out of here!
Time on target artillery will prompt a retreat from that machine gun, but other than that, not much of a serious impact. Sherman is doing some harassment over here on the right side of infantry squads to force them to retreat as well, and most of MrMarshallB's forces have been herded completely off the map back to base, opening up an opportunity for his Sherman to try and pick up the half-track over here. The AT gun has been moved up to screen though. Finally makes its way ever so slightly out of the Oster base, but not by much. Major's moved up a little, but he still hasn't established a retreat point on the ambulance. It's just like hanging out on this road.
Gun batteries report barrage strikes.
Getting very close to 11 command points now.
Back to full strength. Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory. Yes. Stick with me and you might just make it. Imagine needing to take a crap and all of a sudden 88 start raining in. Area secured. That was too easy. God damn it! Someone
Squads being loaded up into the half-track to make their way back to the front lines.
The enemy is
And these squads are going to start getting some territory back under control. MrMarshallB is triple capped right now. Although he secured an early lead, he's losing it quite quickly. And finally, a Jackson is in production, making its way to the front lines as well, taking advantage of pretty good US map control, plus the benefits of the caches he built earlier in the game. Starting to kick in a little bit here. The mortar half-track has not yet fired a shot, but that doesn't really make a difference. Whether it fires or not has no bearing on the impact it has on the game, so... That's a joke. That's my way of saying that that unit is bad. Grenade's a little off target, aimed at that blob, but this blob just diving straight into this MG42's arc of fire is not going to go well. That smoke grenade is way too late. Grenades getting tossed will deal pretty significant damage to these squads. They didn't really have to retreat. Well, I guess he just wants to heal them, since they are heavily wounded. But the engagement will go to MrMarshallB, and he'll continue to hold on to this munitions point, but is not really in a position to make a big push towards that VP. But he needs to take a victory point. He's lost his victory point lead now, rapidly falling very, very behind, but he has hit 11 command points, and his Tiger is rolling onto the field. He has enough fuel reserves to call in a second one within the next 4 minutes, so US player is going to have to deal with the Tiger now. He has one Jackson and an AT gun, and his captain's bazookas, so he has a little anti-tank. This is probably not an engagement he should attempt, though.
The capture point is under attack.
MG42 is setting up here on the cutoff, catches this. Wow, look, he just split his troops up. Wow, I can't believe it. Look at these tactics. I'm kidding. Sort of. I mean, not really, but... Tiger moving up to fire on this retreating clump of riflemen is going to do some pretty significant damage. There's not really anything to prevent it from chasing all the way back to base. This Jackson's actually going to get caught at close range by that Tiger if it doesn't move. Good thing that Tiger didn't keep chasing. It probably could have killed that Jackson by just driving up and shooting at it. If a Tiger can take out a Jackson before they mass, that's a huge win for the Oster. If you let a second Jackson get produced, you're going to have a lot more difficulty finishing them off. But Jackson doesn't have that much difficulty kiting a Tiger to death on a map like this, so opportunities like that are important to capitalize on. Uh-oh, time on target artillery. Good thing he has like 20 minutes to react.
The capture point is being overrun.
Phew, that was a close one. Okay. Half-track making its way back to the base for some repairs. I think the Pios got wiped somehow. A couple squads, in fact. Panzer Grenadiers with Panzer Tricks got wiped. Wasn't paying attention to that. American squad lost one of his riflemen, but other than that, doing pretty good for unit preservation. The Tiger continues to be a pretty serious problem, though.
Task complete. Crew ready.
But with the AT gun and Jackson brought to bear against it, disengaging is probably the smartest option here. Especially since his second Tiger is only 5 fuel away now. And once he's got that, there won't be much that can stand in his way.
Squad is back to full strength.
One Jackson and one AT gun is not nearly enough.
Batteries report barrage strikes now available in your sector.
The tank gun lands 2 shots on that Sherman too, getting it up to vet 1. Sherman will be forced to disengage. 3 shots, in fact. That was kind of a long shot, but it does connect. Grenadiers here have to retreat from a LMG-equipped rifleman squad, and the victory point clock will start ticking against the Oster again.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just came through! God damn it! Someone get us out of here! Ground's ours. Now spread out.
M7B1 self-propelled howitzer on... A capture point is under attack.
Grenadiers move up to take control of this victory point here.
Right, you don'ts. Listen up.
Pretty light engagements everywhere on the map, really. There's so many units on the field, but nothing's like moving or doing anything.
Grenade, move!
Rifle grenade fires. Will get dodged. Rear echelon troops taking control of the East VP. We do have a priest on the field now. If he can fire that
What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits?
somewhere.
Green as green can be. Well, grab your shit.
Doesn't have a whole lot of juicy targets on the field to shoot at right now, though.
We're losing a
Tiger's
capture
being
point.
repaired. He still hasn't fielded his second one because of his manpower bleed, I guess, but he's quite close. Should probably try and get that out as soon as possible so he can make a big push and try and take out some priority targets.
Knock their fucking block
Artillery
off.
especially.
Have 200 points left.
The initial Tiger makes its way up to this VP to support in an attempt to retake it.
Capture points.
Riflemen defending will be forced to retreat. The Jackson and AT gun are available in this area to support, however.
Hold fire.
And MrMarshallB's other forces are making their way to the front lines as well. Tiger is available for purchase now, and there it goes, rumbling onto the field. Tiger moves up into close range. He actually he's driving past the captain. Kind of a dangerous thing to do. It looks like it might have been an error. Although this Jackson is making a really suicidal flanking maneuver, drives right next to a Grenadier squad, Panzerfaust. Oh no, they're actually busy firing a rifle grenade, which got cancelled, and then they retreat. AT gun moves up to fire on the Jackson regardless. Tiger turret does a weird full rotation there, so it doesn't get to fire it much during the course of that engagement, and the Jackson nails a pretty big shot on it, bringing it down to about 1/3 health remaining. And it's going to continue kiting. Anti-tank guns trying to get to safety away from these supporting riflemen. Sherman could go down though. There it goes. Got a little too close to those 2 Tigers.
A medium tank.
Those riflemen will also be forced to retreat, allowing Pioneers to move up and reclaim that anti-tank gun. Since there's still a half-track available here to support, you should be able to reinforce that as well. Rear echelon troops that have made their way up the right side are going to harass the Oster fuel, but now that 2 Tigers are on the field, fuel is a lot less of a concern, and it's more of a fight for victory points for now. A second Jackson is being fielded by the American player, which just goes to show how important it is to try to have as dramatic an impact as possible with your tanks as soon as they hit the field. You really don't want them just sitting around. At this point, it might honestly be a little bit too late to just dive in and be aggressive. But you really want to take out your opponent's tanks
Breach clear.
as quickly as you can so that you secure that armor advantage.
Take cover.
And against a US player that did not go tier 1, there are no mines at all. You don't even have to be worried about that. That's the one huge deterrent. That's stupid close air support, really? Seems like kind of a lot of munitions to kill a rear echelon troop squad.
Ready for action.
But okay, it worked. Apparently he'll retreat and prevent that munitions from being captured. You really want to use Stuka close air support in conjunction with a big push with your Tigers to try and take out the Jackson or the Priest or Shermans or whatever, anything, in the middle of a big engagement. But that was that was probably the worst usage of that ability that I've ever seen. Oh, there we go. Okay, I take it back. I take it back. He could wipe a vetted LMG rifle squad. There it goes. See, it was worth it. That was all part of the plan. All part of the plan. Grenadier squad making their way back over here to the victory point. Panzer Grenadiers, or no, Tiger getting bombarded. I don't even know. I think he just fired that blind at the munitions. It's not really hitting anything. Tiger gonna reposition. It does need some light repairs, but map control largely going back to the Oster here. American players simply content to hold on to one victory point here on the left, doing some harassment here on the left side. Uh-oh. Half-track gets caught slightly out of position, has to pull back for repairs as well. The rifleman, obviously, that attempted to harass the central VP, got gunned down. Wasn't paying attention to that. Grenadier squad, though. Full Grenadier squad gets wiped, and he's only got 2 Gren squads. Now he only has 1. That loss hurts. But if he can pick up some squad wipes with his Tigers and trade nicely, that obviously will help even the odds a little bit. Tiger moves up. Takes out that cache. It's been there for a while, and it looks like we're finally going to have a tank engagement. Jackson's moving to counter here. They could get some shots on the rear of the Tiger. Nope, turns itself just in time. Second Jackson had some pathing issues, is a little bit late to the fight, apparently. Tiger takes some shots on various infantry. The G43 squad moves up to support in the engagement as well. But the Tiger has disengaged completely, not wanting to take on 2 Jacksons alone. The other Tiger is available to support from this angle. If he were to push in from both sides with his Tigers at the same time, he could probably inflict massive damage, taking out those 2 Jacksons and probably not even lose a Tiger in the process, especially if he called in Stuka close air support in conjunction, and he has 500 munitions in the bank with which to do so. He's poised to make a huge push, but he's playing so passive. Oh no, don't send that one in alone though. Priest firing again. Way too passive from the Oster. Needs to get in there. He's got 2 Tigers. Come on. If you just let your opponent build like 9 Jacksons, you're gonna have problems later. It's time. It's time to use your army when you have... If you're pop captain like floating resources, that means you were not aggressive enough. That is what that means. That goes for the US player too, who's at 95 out of 100 and is kind of just sitting around. Grenades being exchanged. No casualties. Both sides are monitoring this engagement. LMGs on the flank of those Panzer Grenadiers will force them to retreat. This AT gun is going to get to safety right now. and a lot of stuff
Goose steppers down to
continues
100
to not
points.
move at all.
Send your orders. Man your stations. Crew ready.
Repairs complete on this Tiger over here. This one still needs some repairs.
Area's ours. We got
Some
orders,
various
Scott.
things.
Make sure you get cover. Reinforcements in. We're getting plastered over here. Factory boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
And we're actually going to see a third Tiger pretty soon. Again, all he's got to do is just box select his Tigers and right click like right here. And then click Stuka Close Air Support on the Jacksons, and the engagement is like in the bag, honestly. Unless the Jacksons penetrate every single shot, and even then, he's got Blitz on his Tigers. You just drive right up. Picking off infantry squads every now and then is fine, but look at this. Look at the victory point situation. He really needs to make an aggressive push and just shove his opponent off the map, and he's got the tools to do so.
Sniffing around our asses. Tactical point being captured. They have only 75 points remaining.
Time on target artillery barrage coming down. Tigers should be able to dodge it just fine though. American player continues to just defend like one victory point and make only very light harassment attempts towards the center and right side. But apparently that's enough because he's got a huge lead. If the austere player doesn't do something huge soon, he's just going to lose on victory points just because of his own lack of aggression. Looks like we're finally going to have a big engagement. Here it comes. Tigers coming to engage. Wait, a mine? Was that a mine? I'm pretty sure that was like one of those little rifleman light AT mines. It didn't really do anything, but okay, there was a mine there. Just another squad gets wiped. Jackson's moved back. He did not utilize close air support in that engagement. Got a little bit intimidated and will disengage. He also didn't blitz into close range. Didn't fully commit to the engagement. He was a little too shy. Need to go hard. Go big or go home.
Under fire! Taking fire! Taking fire! They got us zero!
Priest bombarding the capture circle to continue to apply pressure to the austere VPs. If he doesn't capture the VPs, he's gonna lose. You can't lose with two Tigers on the field. Come on. Capture territory. Do it.
They have 25 points.
Oh my god. This is a tragic situation. Slows the clock here with these Grenadiers on the VPs. Panzer Grenadier should be able to move to take control of this left one, and he doesn't have anything moving to go take control of the right. He has 1,000 manpower though. He's like, oh, I have 1,000 manpower. I should make some infantry. Now that I have 19 victory points left on the board, I guess it's time to play for real. No more going easy on this blobbing scrub. Putting my tri-pants on. Juliet taught me that phrase. To put one's tri-pants on. Stuka close air support being used defensively like this just to prevent like strategic point harassment works, sure, but it's just so much munitions when you really want it to take out like enemy tanks and artillery and stuff. It's such a powerful ability and its potential is so wasted here. Pios are going to be sent to defend against this rifle squad. I think they'll probably win that engagement, right? I guess. Stupid close air support made a pass. I don't know if it really hit anything. Tiger's being engaged over here on the left side with AT gun support. It is a Vet AT gun. If he throws his take aim on there, could put those Tigers in a lot of danger since it can sight for those two Jacksons without the Tiger being able to retaliate. No, don't go in alone! Oh, it's going in by itself against two Jacksons. Fires one shot. Jackson shot bounced at point blank range. Second one missed, and the Stuka close air support just nailed that Jackson. Is this Tiger really gonna do it all alone? No, main gun destroyed by the Jackson. And it's dead. Oh, geez, it's abandoned. The AT gun got cleared over here in the middle, maybe by stupid close air support, I'm not even sure. The clock is currently stopped. Pioneers have to make their way towards the right side. They're heavily wounded, but they should be able to get that VP back unopposed. This Tiger is trying to make something happen. If it can hunt down the remaining Jackson, oh god. If it can hunt down the remaining Jackson without being destroyed itself, that would obviously be a big win. Does take out the ambulance here. Don't disengage. Oh, he has no choice. He has to disengage. Now he's fallen so low, but there's a stolen Tiger over here. Oh god. Oh god. What is happening? What is happening? Well, Stuka close air support is still his ace in the hole. If he can call that in and get a good pass, there may be a chance he could not lose. Maybe. He does have the fuel for another Tiger. But not that much manpower, although he has a huge infantry army now, which is good. Fortunately, replaced a lot of his losses with fresh grenadiers and panzer grenadiers, and making his way back to the front line with those, he should be able to continue to pressure territory and maintain victory point control, which is obviously critical. Ooh, and he just picked up the Jackson over here with something. Oh, with a panzer grenadier squad. Nice pickup. Takes out the Jackson. That is huge. With that Jackson off the field, the only threat left is the Tiger, which he needs to hunt down before it gets repaired, but I'm not even sure he knows about this. Which is bad. He's going to be in for kind of a nasty surprise when that hits the field fully repaired, which it looks like it's probably going to. But yeah, the American player has actually sustained pretty heavy losses, and the game has kind of rotated back to what I thought it should have looked like a long time ago. Oster player closing in, taking all territory. The only real issue is that he's only got 18 victory points left on the board, and he's going to have to play pretty much flawlessly for the remainder of the game. Oh! Full squad of Pyos wiped. Placement of these S-mine fields is obviously not great, since he just walked right on by.
We've dropped to 200 points.
Priest bombarding the left. Pressures a few squads to retreat / reposition.
Rear echelon troops on the front line.
And the Tiger is slowly being repaired. There's still a vetted rifle squad in here, by the way. Should probably pop that out and go send them to try and capture some territory, because they're not going to do any good just sitting inside of this tank. Because you can repair tanks without having anything inside of it.
God damn it! Someone get us out of here! Hold the goddamn line! Field promotion!
Tiger moving up to engage. Some riflemen over here, they'll easily be pushed away. And he just rolled up to 400 munitions, so he has 2 usages of Stuka close air support with which to defend his existing territories.
Welcome to the Death Factory, boys. Stick with me and you might just make it.
But there's a fully repaired Tiger rolling out of the Allied base, but he really needs to replace the crew with rear echelons. He shouldn't be driving that Tiger around with his vetted LMG riflemen. He could be utilizing those to fight. Putting them inside of a Tiger is either a really strategic unit preservation move or a waste of that rifle squad's potential. Some spare rear echelon troops being fielded to get map control and repairs done is definitely a good move, though, and I cannot believe this is actually happening right now. You do need to defend more than 1 victory point, Marshall. You have only 18 left. Please. There are 3 victory points on the map, and all of your units, literally, are sitting on 1 of them. Oh, jeez. Tiger is going to be fine over here on the left side, engaging just a few hesitant rifle squads. This point really needs to get retaken, needs to close into short range. They are suppressed. Get over there. Get in the capture circle. Stuka close air support did just get called in over here on the left. Its first pass sort of hit that Tiger a little bit, but it was blitzing to safety. Good usage of the blitz there to get that Tiger out of harm's way. Grenadiers make their way back into the center VP's capture circle and will be able to stop the clock before time runs out, but only narrowly. Only 10 points now remain for the Axis, and he really needs to get some squads into all 3 victory points. Triple cap his opponent, and don't give his opponent an opportunity to win this game if he doesn't have to. The only reason that he even stands a chance right now is because of a stolen Tiger, and we definitely know that never should have happened. And now there's a Jackson on the field. The means by which this US player could possibly make a comeback here are growing, and that is bad. Oh no, there's time on target artillery over here. Don't lose this. Oh man, first shell was pinpoint accurate. Oh geez. That's not good.
They're wise to us. Listen up.
There go those rear echelon troops, though.
Infantry unit. They got wiped out.
Oh, I just walked through S-mines. He knows they're over here. I think. I thought he did. Although his time on target artillery actually blew up one of the whole S-mine fields. Regardless, he does need to take 2 victory points simultaneously to win this game. He's somewhat repaired this Tiger over here, making his way to the front lines again.
Supply line just got cut off. Back to full strength. That's it.
Rifle squad gets wiped. Vet 2 Tiger against an unvetted Tiger. Gonna be a tough engagement for the Oster here. Panzerfaust bounces off that super duper Mega Tiger's armor. Although there are 2 AT guns moving up to screen it away. Plus the crew cannot hop out and repair. He's got this Jackson crew available. His rear echelon troops are trying to harass the right side, but they're going to get pushed away by the Grenadier squad over here. And the Priest is still alive. Does it have any kills? Has this mortar half-track even fired? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure he's just driven it around and not even used it a single time. I mean, you can't really blame the mortar half-track for doing nothing this game if it doesn't even fire a single mortar. It's just has a mortar half-track driving around. But yeah, the Priest has 4 kills. Wow, it hasn't done anything this game either. Like the worst indirect fire performance I've ever seen in a game of Company of Heroes. Target weak point lands on the Vet 2 Tiger. Nice usage of target weak point there. That I feel like he should have re-engaged with his unvetted Tiger. He probably could have destroyed that. Maybe not though with that Jackson supporting. LMG Rifleman moving up to harass the victory points on the left, but the Tiger is moving to screen them. The center point is being taken by Rifleman here, screened by a smoke grenade. LMG Grenadiers move up from the other side to try and prevent though. Squad of riflemen on the left did get pushed away. Not sure if this will get capped. No, he retreated. Retreated a little on the early side. Rear echelon troops harassing the other victory point will succeed. Nice 3-pronged assault by the U.S. Forces player. That's exactly what you need to do when your opponent has only 9 victory points left on the board. And pretty good response by MrMarshallB as well to defend and protect. He's not sent any forces over here to the right side to do anything about this. But 2 victory points is all he needs. Once he captures this, he will stop the clock at 6 victory points. 6 victory points remaining. From here on, he really needs to be careful.
Grab your shit and follow me.
Another three-pronged assault like that by the U.S. forces could definitely win the game if he doesn't set up some really solid defenses on all 3 victory points. He has 2 Tigers. Sitting a Tiger on each of these 2 VPs definitely will make it hard. And it's going to take a long time for the U.S. player to repair this Tiger.
A capture point is under attack.
I don't know how he thinks he could have possibly gotten a one-shot Tiger kill. I mean, he has a stolen Vet 2 Tiger. I don't think he's really in a position to complain about RNG this game. Just saying. There is a Tiger in your base, like, that you own with 40 kills.
Bleeding points like a stuffed pig.
Oh.
Down to 50.
Okay. Okay. Sure. RNG screwed you over, he said as he repaired his stolen Vet 2 Tiger.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just came through!
Riflemen move up to take control of this point, and while the Tigers are still back for repairs, apparently he's just gonna let this get taken.
They got us down to 25 points.
23 points remaining though for the Allies. If he spent more time like attacking with his vetted Tiger and less time complaining in chat, maybe he wouldn't be about to lose. Well,
We just lost a unit. Fire. Stick with me. Do something. We're down to 10 points, damn it.
Ground fighter! Take cover! Changing bags! Ground 42!
looks like the Ulster's gonna take it. Final suicidal charge by the Allied infantry here for the center does get shut down. The victory points have run out and the Ulster is successful. I've got to say, I know this was a lower skill game. It was. But I mean, mostly I feel like the biggest issue from both players is just a lack of aggression. It's very hard in Company of Heroes to know exactly when to push and how to push, when to disengage. Basically, as a rule of thumb, as soon as your tanks hit the field, be as aggressive as possible and then dial it back from there. You don't want to suicide your tanks, but at the same time, if you can just take out your opponent's tank without losing your own, you get a huge advantage. You really need to capitalize on your own vehicle's window of opportunity as soon as it hits the field. It's very limited. Even 1 minute or 2 minutes can make a crucial difference. Otherwise, you end up in this situation where it's a 50-minute long slugfest when it doesn't have to be, even if you have a massive lead. So, good game. Axis wins. Barely.